Today, we are talking about one of everyone's favorite topics, and that is surrender. And not just to surrender, but to surrender to the act of surrendering. Surrender is such a challenging part and thing for us as humans because it goes against what our mind thinks should be, and it really requires a trusting and a letting go and an opening of our heart into a realm in which perhaps doesn't feel safe or familiar. And that is where this deep trust must come in. And as humans, we want to know how things are going to be. We want to feel that where we are jumping off, we can see where we are landing. And in surrender, we cannot see the path that we are surrendering to. We cannot see and know how it is going to transpire and evolve. And the truth is, we never really can. And if anyone tells you that they can guarantee or that things are going to be a certain way, I can, without a shadow of a doubt, like, no one can guarantee anything. If we know anything, it's that there's no certainty. There's no certainty. And while we can think we know where we're going, it usually always turns out a bit differently because our soul, source, our guides, everything is being woven in such a beautiful and harmonious way that is so supportive and truly supporting us in our journey. But our mind wants to know the outcome, but our heart is what is going to lead us to the true outcome that we really desire. And so my guides brought through this message today about surrendering, about how do we surrender to the surrender? How do we open our heart into this deep trust, into knowing that our heart can be held in this, knowing that we're going to be safe? Because as humans, we ultimately, we want to feel safe. We want to know that where we are jumping, that we will be caught. And the funny thing about this is that whenever we jump, we inevitably, of course, we will be caught, but it's not always going to look the way that we think. And sometimes it can be very challenging. It can lead to a lot of disruption and chaos and perhaps looking like things aren't working out. But really, this is often, as I've talked about in just the last video and episode, is that when things don't look like they're working out, or when we're in a bridge moment, this is when everything is working out. This is when energy is weaving and colliding and coming together so that it can support us in where we're going. So I want to read this channeled message for you, with you, and just allowing yourself to feel into these words. And wherever you are, wherever you're feeling that you are being called up to surrender, it's not an easy thing, and I get that. And this message is just designed to prime you energetically, physically, and emotionally to allow that process to be whatever it needs to be for you, but for you to feel, for your human to feel supported in this aspect and in this process of surrendering. Because no matter how skilled you are, no matter how many times you have surrendered, it gets easier for us to trust, but there is always going to be an aspect of our human that's like scared and wants familiar, and that's normal. Like, I just want to reiterate that this is what our mind does. Our mind likes familiar, even if familiar is suffering, even if familiar is pain, even if familiar is not having what we want. Our mind likes familiar. And so when we surrender, when we trust and fall into something that is completely new for us, it's very common for all of our things to come up, all of our fears and worries and doubts and all of these things, right? But you wouldn't be given a desire, you wouldn't be given a hope, a wish, a dream if you weren't meant to have it. So with that, just inviting you into this message, wherever you are, taking a big deep breath in, allowing these few moments for this short message. And with that, let us dive in. When you boldly surrender and claim your surrender. To surrender to the act of surrendering, you now see a new perspective. To illuminate a new perception and way of perceiving. You open up to a new way of seeing, receiving, and witnessing that which once was. And now you see it in a new light. For each and every situation you are in could be viewed from many angles, many perspectives, and many iterations. There is no one way to view things, and so you can choose. You can choose to surrender to how you view things, how you choose to interact with, play with, and be in relationship with. You have this power and ability. And when you deliberately choose how you want to interact, how you want to be in relation with, and how you want to be in any situation, the situation shifts and changes. And this is how you evolve and grow into your next iteration, into your highest truth. And so, as you surrender, continue to surrender and allow your soul to guide, your heart to lead, and all of the support around you to guide you and lead you. And so it shall be, and so it is.